My. Kyle Busch is really sticking it to Joe Gibbs Racing this year with yet another win, his third of the season, now tying all of Joe Gibbs' wins combined this season. Kyle Busch and RCR, they're back, and they're looking strong. Kyle Busch looks more like just in focus than he has been in years. Honestly, in my opinion, since his 2019 championship run, which is saying something. Busch is becoming a real contender for the championship, and I bet Joe Gibbs is shaking his head right now because I can only imagine how irritated he is that he let this man walk. And don't get me wrong, Ty Gibbs is a rookie, I understand it. But man, if they got the deal done last year, this Kyle Busch could have still hung around. He is rejuvenated and he's ready to go and prove that he still got what it takes. Kyle Busch is slowly becoming the favorite. In my opinion right now, it's him, Byron, or Blaney, but that's to be expected right now. Now, we all know how everything's going right now. Kyle Busch goes to Gateway this weekend and gets a huge win. His third on the season, now tying Willy and Byron for the most on the season. And just again, today's race at Gateway was a solid race, or Sunday's race at Gateway was a solid race. Just overall, it was not one of the greatest races of all time, obviously. It does not compare to the Coke 600 we got before this. However, for what we got last year, I did enjoy the racing product. A couple things obviously kind of deterred things. The first thing I'll get into is obviously the almost 2-hour delay we had for Lightning. Obviously, we can't control that. They have to follow those rules. Unfortunately, it just costed us 2 hours of race time. But hey, we got some lights at Gateway. Maybe that could bring some potential for a night race at Gateway. I highly doubt it. Just throwing some ideas out there. But, you know, it was nice to see that come into effect. Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch split the stages. And speaking about Ryan Blaney, I want to give him a shout out real quick. Because, man, won that Coke 600 last week. Looked very fast this week. I know I've been ragging on Penske for how subpar they've been this year. But I've said it once and I'll say it again. Ryan Blaney is the best driver on that team right now. He is consistent, he's up front, and if he can build off that Coke 600 momentum or just build on the momentum he got right now, he could win more races. And that's huge for Ryan Blaney and Team Penske. That's exactly what they need. That number 12 team, they need wins. Blaney needs to go win. He needs to get his confidence in check and know and continue to show that he can win races and close out the deal. It's very big, especially on a driver's mentality, when you can see that you can go out there and get the job done and get the win. That's huge for Ryan Blaney. He needs to keep going and doing that. He's got to prove himself. He proved it at the Coke 600 with that phenomenal last race start and running away from the field. Now he's got to build off that. He knows he can do it. He's just got to get that confidence there. Now, also speaking about another driver that had a good day, William Byron, yet again, ran up front, had some issues in stage 3, had a couple bad pit stops, got towards the back, dealt with some issues, still fought his way to a top 10. That number 24 car was extremely fast. Watch out for Byron. Also, another driver that had a subpar car and looks like he was going to be in for a subpar day, Kyle Larson, finished 4th, a top 5 for a team at one point that said the car was so off they didn't feel like they could drive it. Kyle Larson, again, him and Cliff Daniels, they impressed me so much. The fact that they were able to take a car that, as Larson said, was as crap as it was to a 4th place finish is extremely impressive. Hendrick Motorsports all around was extremely fast, except for one certain driver. That certain driver being the man who replaced Chase Elliott and got his chance, Corey LaJoie. And I spoke on it in the last video. Corey LaJoie had to hop into this number 9 car and take over. He had to go prove that he could drive the hell out of it. And he was bad. It was bad. Now, I'm going to get into the next thing that really caught people's attention in this race, and that was brake rotor failures. And that started, obviously, with Carson Hocevar, who is in Corey LaJoie's car. Now, why am I making a big deal out of Carson Hocevar? Well, that's because before his brake rotor exploded, he was running inside the top 20 and better than Corey LaJoie. That is not a good sign if you're Corey LaJoie. The fact that you run Hendrick equipment, and yes, I know that 9 car's qualified bad all year. Trust me. Chase Elliott's qualified bad all year in that 9 car. Anybody that's been in that card has not been able to qualify well. But they're usually able to go up to the field and get into that top 10. Look at Elliott every single week. Look when Josh Berry was in that car. Even Jordan Taylor at Coda before some situations happened. They were able to go fight and be in the top 20 to top 10 on a weekly basis. So no excuse for Corey LaJoie there. None at all. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he accidentally turned off the car for a second. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But now Carson Hocevar, and the big issue of the day was the brake rotor failures. Now, obviously, with a track like Gateway, long straightaways, quick, tight corners, those brakes are going to get hot. But the thing is, unlike a Martinsville where those brakes are going to get hot and you're going to get on a straightaway, since Gateway has those longer straightaways, those brakes cool off, they get hot. They cool off, they get hot. They cool off, they get hot. So it's going to make the brake rotors explode. We saw it happen to 4 cars. Those 4 cars being Carson Hocevar, Tyler Reddick, Bub Wallace, both 2311 cars, and Noah Gragson, who took the hardest hit. And as of recording this, already been announced that he will not be racing at Sonoma as he is dealing with concussion-like symptoms. I do not remember off the top of my head who is taking over the number 42 Legacy Motor Club machine, but to talk about Legacy Motor Club real quick, I will be making a video about them because holy cow, has their season been just catastrophic on such a substantial level that I don't even know what to begin. Now, I know this video has been a lot of just rambling and talking about everything. You know, there's been so much going on with this race that, you know, everything just kind of jumbles together. There was never a point in this race where I felt like one driver, besides that last 20 laps when Kyle Busch took the lead, that I felt like a driver just had the race in handle and had it in their grasp, and that was nice. I enjoyed today the race at Gateway. I really did just enjoy the whole entire thing. I really think that NASCAR still needs to improve on this package a little bit because passing was still difficult, but then again, it's a flat mile racetrack. Passing's going to be difficult. Now, NASCAR's next test is Sonoma, and I'm very excited to see how these cars handle to the road course. I talked about it after Coda. Coda has put on good shows for these past years. Now let's see what Sonoma can do. I'm very excited for this week at Sonoma, quite frankly, and I'm excited to see how this car performs. But for Gateway, Kyle Busch gets his 3rd win on the season, like I've said before. Now, I'm going to make a bold prediction here right now. Kyle Busch gets his 3rd win of the season, and he's done it again in a good fashion. I'm going to, right now, say he is pretty safe to make the Championship 4. That's right. I'm going to make my first Championship 4 prediction of the year. I'll be slowly dropping them as the year progresses before playoff time, who I think will be the Championship 4, and I'm going to put in my first guess right here. I know, maybe I should be picking William Byron, who's been more consistent, but he's younger. I trust Kyle Busch in the number 8 team right now to get the job done. It's Rowdy Busch behind the wheel, and I trust this. I'm going to pick Rowdy Busch as my first guy I trust can be in the Final 4. Obviously, I'll make a more in-depth breakdown when playoff time comes around, but this is going to be the first driver I lock in right now. Now, I want to ask you guys, is Kyle Busch really a championship threat, or am I just overreacting to something because he's won his 3rd race of the year at Gateway? Let me know down in the comments below what you think. Is Kyle Busch a legitimate threat, or is RCR just fast right now and other teams need to catch up? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe because we post every single week on this channel recapping NASCAR content and other sports content coming up as we approach the NFL season. And I'll be doing a whole off-season recap, so be ready for that, guys, because it's going to be a big one. But thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, everybody.